What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Kick-Ass Podcast. We are here this evening to discuss a little bit of everything tonight. We are definitely going to talk about some AEW and what happened on Dynamite last night. We will touch on my guy CM Punk and the gold that he gave us on Monday. I believe it was even less than like 30 seconds, but it was just the highlight of the week for me so far. And whatever else comes up. I feel like it's been a minute since did a live here on the channel, so I wanted to get one under the belt here. And I definitely will be going live this Saturday over at One True Sport on YouTube at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. So feel free to join me over there as well. But I wanted to just pop on here and, like I said, discuss a little bit of the happenings this week, touch on a little bit of some things coming up, maybe take a look at Saturday night's main event, depending on what we get into and how much time we have. But yeah, I'll start out with CM Punk because I was just watching the clip again right before I hit the good old live button, and my goodness, man. I wish I could play the audio. I don't know if I could play the audio. I don't know if I get in trouble for the audio, but I definitely know I can't play the video. And at this point, you guys have all seen it by now. And if not, if you somehow have missed it, just CM Punk not calling out Hulk Hogan, but saying that if when he was doing his Royal Rumble little hype promo-ish segment, right, and the fans with Jackie Redmond, he was hyped up, man. He was feeling the moment. He was energized. He was ready to go. And I think right before that, he was talking about Drew McIntyre, and then he said, "Bring Hulk Hogan in the ring. I'll throw his dusty ass over the ropes and kill Hulkamania once and for all." And my goodness, man, that the passion and the energy that he had saying that was just fucking brilliant. And reports are that he kind of went off script, quote unquote, right? And that was not part of the plan verbiage. And if that's so, then that makes it even better because it's just that's who Punk is, right? And if that's the case, and along with those reports, nothing indicated that he was even in trouble for it or that there was anything negative that happened behind the scenes after he went back there or anything of that nature. So if that is true and no one was expecting that and he just winged it either out there or he had an idea he was going to say something about Hulk Hogan when he got out there or whatever it was, he said it and he didn't get in trouble for it. And I'm fucking here for it because definitely a different time if he said his own thing out there, it would have had a different result for sure. So that's just a good sign, if nothing else. But man, it was just something simple, but just fucking brilliant, man. Just brilliant, and it makes you love Punk even more, in my opinion. Maybe a little biased, but it is what it is. But I do want to also move it here before the audio comes on. I do want to obviously talk about AEW and go over Dynamite and the show that was, because it definitely was a show. I will say that. I'm getting the notes pulled up here. And I am still battling this cold, remnants of a cold. So bear with me if it sounds terrible. I apologize. Hopefully getting a little bit better. Definitely feel a little bit better, but still a little nasally. It's not the best sound. So if I have to mute myself or disappear for a hot moment, that is why, but I shall return. Definitely. All right, not going to go through a whole rundown of Dynamite here, but I definitely want to discuss the key points, right? Which is essentially going to be the beginning, middle, and the end almost. And I hate to even be that person because I feel like I'm going to be like negative Nancy here because I see, and I've the couple review shows that I've listened to, a lot of people seem to be in favor. Now, I've only listened to one all the way through, and a couple I've listened about halfway through, but I seem to be in the minority when it comes to the opening segment for Dynamite and the 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 threading that we had of the promo, the beatdown, and then the ending, and essentially like the resolution of it. And I will say too, like I'm jumping the gun, but like towards the end of the brawl, I felt like we were in a match because the referee, like Aubrey, was right there, and it looked like she was just kind of like giving them instructions and like counting, like not necessarily making a count, but like like going like that with her fingers and like trying to direct them back to the ring. It was just very odd because like it really felt like a match, and it obviously wasn't a match. So we'll be getting into that. But to start the show, we had Excalibur and Taz on commentary. Tony Schiavone was in the ring. He was the one who was supposed to be the essentially like the not the commentator, but he was going to be the guy. I don't even want to say the like the mean gene of the of the AEW world, but he was going to be the guy, trying to hold the interview segment, and did not go as well as he would have hoped. And thinking back on it, it's always Tony Giovanni, right, that gets the shit end of the stick. Poor Tony. But he was in the ring. Osprey came out first, and then Omega. They were in Knoxville, Tennessee as well, which was a pretty good crowd. Some spots were really odd, and just kind of quiet, especially that main event, like the way it started off. Towards the end, it ended up getting a little bit hotter, but like, man, it was just really just odd starting out for that match. Just very quiet, and it was odd just because of who was in it, right? Edge, Adam Copeland, and Pac. You just would expect a little bit more energy from the fans. I don't know if maybe they were tired or what, but just odd. But speaking of odd, back to the opening segment. So Osprey explained to Omega that a lot has changed in his absence, and shout out to ProWrestling.net for the transcription here. They do a great work over there with the breakdown and the transcriptions of the show in each segment, and pretty much laying it out almost damn near word for word and move by move and shit like that. So shout out to them, Jason Powell, Jake Barnett, who did this article. They do great work. So I reference them very frequently, so check them out if you have not already. But Osprey explained to Omega that a lot has changed in his absence, and he has nothing to do with the Don Callis family anymore. He said that Omega came back at a bad time because Moxley is holding the title hostage, but he keeps running into the Callis family. He can't do it on his own anymore. Omega grabbed the mic from him and recalled their first match at, well, not their first match, but their match at Forbidden Door, where he dropped him on his neck and stabbed him with the same screwdriver Don Callis stabbed him with months earlier. It's just fucking crazy saying some of this shit out loud. And just putting a pin in it really quick, I will say that I like that they're referencing history, right? And they're referencing the past and having a callback. And they're not just forgetting any interactions that they've had, not even in their whole tenure of knowing each other, but at least in the AEW world, right? So if you've watched nothing but AEW and them on AEW TV or pay-per-view, you at least know of their history with that, right? So I liked that callback and that reference there. And I liked too that Osprey was acknowledging that Moxley and his crew are pretty much like running Rampage. No, that's bad pun, but running Ruckshot, really, we'll go with that, on AEW, and they're kind of holding it hostage, and he's trying to be the one to defend AEW, but every time he tries to, and every time he tries to make it to Mox and in the Death Riders, the Don Callis interferes. So, and at this point, he's just outnumbered. So I like that. I like that someone like another big name in AEW is finally, and again, and granted they have been for the past couple months, but another name that hasn't necessarily been intertwined is still referencing and acknowledging what the Death Riders are doing. Um, a lot of, I wish more people were doing, like your excuse me, your Jericho's, and I know it'd be kind of weird for Jericho to, but at least having Jericho acknowledge the control that Moxley and his group has had on AEW, right? So it's just, I just wish they would have more and more people acknowledge that and reference that. But going on, Omega said he did it because he wanted to prove he was the best, and it took a diverticulitis killing him for anyone to recognize that Osprey even existed. He then said he hoped that he enjoyed being number 2 because number 1 is back and he'd never be able to trust someone like him again. Now remember that. Osprey called him a prick, but they were interrupted by the Callis family, and I'm just gonna pause it right there because it was very odd to me. So I like the fact what I just said, that Omega and that they're both referencing their history, right, in AEW. But Omega's saying these statements. He'd never be able to trust someone like him again. That Omega would never be able to trust someone like Osprey again. Keep that in mind, because it just made the whole ending of this segment just make me feel like I was just like going crazy in a sense, and that may be extreme, but it just felt like I went through a whole story within however long this segment was. So again, we'll get to that, but and Osprey called him a prick. Like Osprey just got like really mad like out of nowhere. So it was just very odd. But too like, and I get because Osprey kind of interjected himself, but correct me if I'm wrong, but Omega came back in the like Omega's return and Omega's, I don't want to say debut, but his just for his return period at World's End was confronting Okada, and now we are back focusing on the Don Callis family and Osprey, and it's just kind of backwards to me. And again, no reference of Okada or the Elite or them taking him out or anything like that. It would have even been something if he was like he referenced it and he was like, I'm gonna get to that. However, I gotta take care of this first. Kind of like what Osprey did. Osprey acknowledged that there's a bigger threat looming, which is Moxley and the Death Riders, but the immediate threat that he keeps getting attacked and and interrupted by no matter what he does is the Don Callis family. So he has to take out these guys so he can get to the bigger deal. So I like that and that makes sense. I just wish Omega would do that now because it's like he has completely forgotten about Okada and the Elite. So again, I'm gonna give it like a few more weeks, but it's just kind of odd to me. So I don't know. That's just another thing I was kind of sitting there thinking throughout this whole segment. But back to the segment itself. And I liked too. Before I get back to it, I was kind of conflicted because I thought Omega was being really harsh on Osprey at some points too. Because yes, like Osprey was a piece of shit and did all those things to Omega, right? But the Osprey that we've seen has been a good guy, has been damn near the top face in AEW. So for Omega to come back and just be so harsh and just shitting on Osprey without again kind of like fluffing it up or like making it a sandwich, like good, bad, good. um, it was just kind of jarring to me in a way too. So that was just very interesting. Um, and I just calling him number two because number one is back. I did like that though because that's just the competitive nature, And I think if you don't think you're number one, what are you doing? It's just like going for the heavyweight championship. Like everyone should want to be the heavyweight champion. If not, then what are you doing? Type thing. Let me pull up the chat. What up, guys? What up? What up? E, what up, E? Yes, sir. What up, man? What up? What up? Any NXT review? That is coming, my friend. That is coming. I am going to be doing a video on that. The CW app wasn't working for me, so and I don't know. Let me know if you guys know how to watch it live because I can't seem to watch it live. I have to do it, wait for it to be uploaded to the app. And for me, it's within about 48 hours. So let me know if you guys know how to watch it live on the CW app. Impact 88, what's up, man? You said, what did you think of a PCO destroying the TNA Digital Media Championship? I think it was needed because that's just one of those championships that I don't feel is needed. And I actually will be going to TNA's tape. Well, they're actually doing a live show on February 20th and 21st here in Orlando at Full Sail. So that's going to be pretty dope. I know for sure that Thursday, which is the 20th, is going to be a live show. And I got my tickets earlier today for that one and for Friday. I don't know if Friday is going to be live or if it's going to be taped, but definitely going to be doing some review shows on that too. So going to be getting TNA more involved in the mix here. So be on the lookout for that, and NXT too, for that matter. I just need to figure out how to watch CW live because I don't have it on my. I don't have that channel on Sling, but I downloaded the app, and the only way that I can watch it is, like I said, on delay. So let me know if you guys know. But what up, Fernando? What up, man? Impact 88. Do you think Jeff Jarrett gets a world title match versus Moxley? We'll get to that, man. We are making our way through Dynamite, so we will definitely be talking about Jarrett, because talk about a shit show. We'll talk about that. And I haven't properly addressed the promo segment between MJF and Jeff Jarrett from last week, so I definitely will be talking about that as well, because I was not a fan. Not a fan. Juggernaut, what up, man? Do you have Access TV? Yes, I do now with my Sling package. I do. What up, Maria? What up? What up, Sean? Crazy that you guys got snow. Yeah, dude, it's fucking crazy. I had taken some time off and was traveling up to northern Florida at the worst point in the worst time, literally. So got stuck with some freezing rain, and all that wintry goodness that I had not experienced in years, about 5 years at least. So yeah, man, these Floridians down here just do not know what to do. We tried going to made reservations for dinner at like 7:30, and we got there at like 7:25, and they said that they were closing early because of the upcoming storm, and that area wasn't like, they were just getting like rain, and I was like, y'all are wild. And they didn't even call us. It's like, you could have called us, and if you're gonna cancel our reservation, which is fine, just let us know type shit, so we don't go all the way out there. But because they're literally playing the entire day around it. But yeah, man, like, people, like, are freaking out down here. It's funny because being from Virginia, like, we wouldn't even get that crazy of snow, but, like, we would get decent snow sometimes, and I'm sure depending on where you guys are from, especially, like, if you're from, like, northern in the US or whatever, like, some states get feet of snow, and it's just funny, like, how some states react to some shit. You say CW doesn't stream live. They normally upload new episodes of the show that's on their network the following day at 3 a.m. Expect TNA or or NWA rather was released at 12 noon. Okay, cool. So I'll double check that. Yeah, I don't know why it takes mine so long then. Yeah, but thanks, man. I appreciate that. I wish I would stream live, because the other night, like, I was off, so I was like, oh, dope, I'm gonna be able to watch it live. And I literally, like, I was typing it in, and it was showed like the seasons, and just no way to watch it live. I went through their whole guide. I was kind of bummed. I really wanted to watch it, but yeah, man, we would definitely be doing more of an influx of TNA for sure, and NXT, because NXT has been killing it in their ratings too. So got to give them their props and their love. But yeah, Maria, Will and Kenny are a dream match for sure. Juggernaut, you said, I think you can watch the replay of NXT on Peacock the next day, I think. Oh, okay. I didn't know if I didn't even think about that. Cool. Good to know, man. Appreciate that. Fernando, you say, I live in Orlando. Can't wait for these live. Shit, dude, I didn't know you lived in Orlando. That's dope, dude. Are you going to TNA? Are you going to, to the TNA shows in February? That's cool, man. Let me know. Baby, what up, man? What up? You say, I know this isn't probably up your alley, but you could always watch CW. Oh, you're right, dude. It totally is up my alley. I don't know if you can see it, but I have antennas right here. Right there. I love me a good old fashioned antenna. Fuck yeah, dude. That's great idea. Thanks, man. Fernando, you say, I was born in Chicago. I am no stranger to snow and freezing weather. Bro, yeah, man. You already know. So this weather we've had down here ain't shit. But I was up more kind of like close to like the edge of like Jacksonville, kind of towards like the Pensacola area, but not really. It's kind of just like in a weird area. We got more of the like freezing rain, more so, but just wild. um, You said it's still like a week ago. It had been cold. In Ohio, I'm like an hour from Michigan border. Kids these days are weak. Yeah, bro. Fucking facts, dude. Facts. Like as long as you could drive through it, you're going to school. Now it's like if it rains hard, you're out for 2 days. And it's like what? Um, more dope, Fernando. Dope, dude. If you see me there, say hey for sure. I try to get there at least like 45 minutes early. Depending on like if the gates open at like 6, whatever. Let's say I try to get there like around 6:30, depending on if they're doing like a pre-show or whatnot. But if you see me, bro, say hey, man. Say hey. All right, I am going to get back to the opening segment here on Dynamite because, man, and let me know what you guys thought about the opening segment because, like I said at the beginning, I know some of you guys were still coming in. I feel like I'm in the minority. I was not a fan of the opening segment at all. Well, I'm not gonna say at all. That's a little bit harsh. I was a fan of it, but I wish they would have just like compartmentalized it and like done part of it this week, part next week, and then like building to the show. I just feel like we went through a whole damn near a whole book in like 15 minutes, however long the segment was. But getting back to it, let me go back to my notes here. Da, da, da. All right, so and that's why it really felt like they had the match like during that segment, but whatever. Because as I was sitting there watching it too, I'm just sitting there thinking like, no one's coming out, like no security is coming out. Like normally security and the referees, they all like haul ass to the ring the second like two guys like throw punches, and like these dudes are like brawling through the fans and shit, and like there's Aubrey just like doing like that, and I think another referee was behind her. I forget who it was, but it was just like kind of odd. Like I don't know. That was just another thing that kind of stood out to me. I'm just sitting there thinking about like, wow, like what are we like? It's not a big deal, but it just kind of tickled me because at least I'm just so conditioned whenever any unplanned and unscheduled brawling and physicality happens, like everyone hauls ass down there. So it's just very odd, very odd. But I'm not getting back to it. Omega said he did it because he wanted to prove he was the best, and it took diverticulitis killing him for anyone to recognize that Ospreay even existed. He then said he hoped that he enjoyed being number 2 because number 1 is back, and he'd never be able to trust someone like him again. Okay, going over that. Ospreay called him a prick, which again was just kind of funny to me. Ospreay eventually intervened and even the odds, but damage was done. Oh, skipped a line. Omega, just Don Callis interrupted. That's where I stopped, and then Omega ran after them. Which again, too, it's like if you're Don Callis, like why would you even really interrupt? Like just let them kind of like go at it. But whatever. And then that's when Ospreay eventually intervened and even the odds, but damage was done. Fletcher dove onto Ospreay over the ringside barricade, and the brawl continued into the stands. Lance Archer came out, got involved in the numbers stacked against Omega and Ospreay. Archer sent Ospreay down a flight of stairs, and Takeshita and Brian Cage brawled with Omega. Just, and that's another reason why too. Like I was sitting there thinking, like, okay, like security is gonna come out at any minute, and they just did it. And I don't know why. Like I just sat there thinking about it, but just how my brain works. Just how I'm programmed at this point. And at one point, they went backstage in kind of like the corridor area, and there was a merch table set up. I'm trying to scroll through here and see who. I'm pretty sure it was Omega and Ospreay. Yeah, Omega and Ospreay with Lance Archer. They did a double suplex on Archer through the little merch table that they had set up there. And I remember thinking like, damn, you can't do that because they only have 2 set up. So now one's completely out of commission. Now there's only 1 merch table, and there's probably only like 3 shirts left. So now they're fucked, and it's 8-10. For real though, like that's not, like it's kind of the truth, which is not good. But I remember, and that's one of my biggest complaints going to AEW shows live is because I want to buy a merch and it's just limited. It's just like I'm not even, they don't even have I was there shirts. And it's like that's I don't know, that's like the fun part about going to wrestling shows and buying a shirt. It's to get a shirt with like the roster on the front or whatever, or like whatever the event is on the back, like even some wrestlers would have it. Like Brock Lesnar used to have like Suplex City, like Detroit. And like I have one from Brock Lesnar years ago when I was in Detroit. just because that was the only one left that had like Detroit in the back, and I just like thinking like, oh yeah, I remember when I went to Detroit, like just random shit. They're just missing, like leaving money on that table, man, that they just put Archer through. So that's what it just hurts my soul, man, looking at it. Cause I'm just like, to be a t-shirt company, LOL, that whole moniker they used to have, for them not to really be taking advantage of the merch, just it hurts me for them. They did better during the pandemic. I remember going to Daly's place and they had this system where you could order the shirts and order your merch, any type of merch that they had there, through an app. And once you place the order, it'd be like you obviously get your ticket number, and it'd be 30 minutes, which is perfect because it's less time that you have to walk around holding the shit. You can go get your food or whatever, and then by the time you do that, you can go pick up your merch and then go sit down. It was great. Like, I don't know why they stopped doing that. I don't know if it was expensive, like the app thing, or what, but I don't know. All right. But to finish up with the opening segment before I go on more tangents, we got to a point where Osprey, it's actually kind of cool. He was launched and he caught in the arena, like the arena they were in. It was cool because it was a smaller arena and much more like what's the word? Oh my god, it just left my brain. But it's a much more intimate type of environment, right? I love like the smaller venues because it just makes it, especially if you have a great crowd, it makes it feel that much more livelier. But the thing that killed me though, when you're in the ring, I think it was they had like maybe 4 rows on the floor, but then they had that big ass brick wall, and it just was just grinding my gears, man. I just, especially the shot when kind of jumping ahead, of course, you know me. But when the Hurt Syndicate won the tag titles and they were celebrating, this shot was like they had a shot of them, and it was Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin, and then of course MVP in the center holding up the tag titles, and then it's against like a brick wall. You see like 3 rows of people and then a brick wall, which if you're just seeing that picture, that looks terrible. Not accounting for all the however what 3,000 people that they had there or whatever. Um, but of course, when you pan out, you get a much broader view. It looked obviously much better. But I was just like, yo, like that wall is fucking killer, and not in a good way. But so speaking of the walls, that was my point there. But there was another like taller section in the back where Osprey was kind of thrown up against, and credit to him, fucking Spider-Man, latched onto the wall on the railing up there. He climbed up to the top of the railing, and then you had Omega climbing up like the scaffolding type shit, and they hit pretty much stereo moonsaults. I never knew Kenny Omega was afraid of heights, which we learned later on in his ending little promo segment. But after they did that, of course, they took advantage. They got the better hand on the Don Callis family, and Omega. This is the part that just really kind of killed it for me. Besides the fact that we essentially just had a match right there, which is that's cool, like that's fine. It is what it is. But like it took like security forever to come in and like interrupt everything and just like get a hold of everything. It was just kind of odd. But excuse me. Omega again, he had climbed up and he took a microphone up there with him, and he all of a sudden said that he was the one that should be apologizing to Osprey, and that he should have trusted Osprey from the beginning. And then that's when he challenged Fletcher and Takeshita to a match in Australia. I was just like, I'm sorry, what? You literally maybe 10 minutes ago just said he's never going to trust you again. Like I can never trust you again. 10 minutes goes by, and he's not only trusting this dude, but he's apologizing to him. I'm like, wait, what? And I was like, yo, I know I took some medicine, but like, but what the fuck? Like, what? So I actually rewound it too to the beginning. Once this whole segment was done, I went back to the beginning, to Osprey and Omega's promo, just to make sure that I heard Omega correctly. And yeah, sure enough, he was like, I'll never trust you again, type shit. Excuse me. And sorry guys, I need to hit the mute button, but within, I'm gonna say 15 minutes total, he goes from never trusting him again to apologizing and saying that he should have trusted him from the beginning. And I was just like, nah, man, no. Like, I'm not following that, man. I can't buy into that because you were why? Because he fought off the Callis family with you? Like, okay. Like he did that last week too. Like he's been doing that. So I don't like it was just very odd to me and very forced and just sped up. So 1 second, guys. I just I don't understand. And that's what it just probably made me more bothered than it should have because you could have literally gotten at least 3 weeks out of this. You could have had Omega saying what he said, pretty much doing their opening promo, having Don Callis come out, having Omega go up there, having pretty much everything happen. Osprey still save Omega, but then once everything's finished, having Omega still be kind of inquisitive on if he wants to, excuse me, really trust Osprey still, or be a little hesitant. 1 second, guys. Didn't want to cough in your guys' ear, but I just felt like it was really rushed. So you could have just had that segment done, follow up next week, and see even just have a backstage segment with one of them or some type of follow up, and then just kind of go from there. So I don't know why we rushed it, really. But let me get back to the comments here. All right. Johnny, what up, man? What up? What up? You say, scrolling back here a little bit. How would you rate Mariah May's title reign from a 1 to a 10? I'd say a 3, and I feel like I'm being generous with a 3. And that's sad because I expected more, a lot more from her, really. And it's not even her fault. It's the booking. Yeah, Maria, you said the brawl was that bad but very clunky. And like, why did we get the whole brawl though? Like that could have been like week 3 or like the last week right before the show in Australia, Grand Slam. So, which that show is a clusterfuck in and of itself. What time is it airing? Does anyone know? Because sorry guys, on a graphic they had 8 o'clock, but then on this past week the time wasn't there. So, and I know it's going to be delayed or early for us here over in America. So I don't know. So I think it's a whole clusterfuck, man. And I guess it's not a pay per view. It's gonna be airing on Max, which is cool. It's just a clusterfuck. Hezekiah Thomas, what up, what up? You said I fucking love that segment. Can't lie, it felt like a whole anime episode in 20 minutes. This is the type of stuff I came to see for. And I dig it, man. I love the brawl, but it just felt like rushed. I feel like if that was like week 2 or week 3, then yeah, that would have made more sense. But it just felt rushed to me. But yeah, I dig it too. You say any thoughts on the Britt Baker stuff? Any thoughts on Corey Graves? He behaved on NXT this week. WWE must have checked him before he wrecked himself. So, really quick on the Britt Baker stuff. Do you mean like in regards to her and Tony and just not being on AEW and possibly like wanting to be done type thing? Like I believe is what I believe Wade Keller at PW Torch had mentioned something that I forget exactly how he worded it, but something to the effect that she's not being used right now, and there's maybe a little bit of a falling out between her and Tony Khan, and she's not really that well perceived in the locker room, something to that effect. Don't quote me there. I'm not sure if his exact quoting, but in that regard, look, you're gonna have people who don't get along with other people in the locker room, and that's not even it could be, you don't know why. If it's her like having a big head, then okay, like that should be easy to address, right? Like, you being a leader, you should be able to step in and check your talent, you know what I mean? And if that's what he's doing, then okay. But in regards to the totality of things, when you look at it, I don't know, man. I feel like it's very convenient that all this information gets out on her and no one else. Now, granted, if everyone else is just back there holding hands and playing video games and it's just kumbaya and she's the only one speaking her mind, then that may be why it's getting leaked and reported. But it's just interesting to me that it's always info about her, right? Now, granted, we've heard stories about other people, right, like CM Punk and stuff like that, but it's interesting who information gets leaked out on and what information, and it's never positive information, So I don't know. I'm just kind of like skeptical when it comes to that. Not on even necessarily wage reporting, because that would make sense to me. Like, she probably views herself as a star, and she should in a lot of ways. Like, she was the first female signing. Like, she was the division for the longest time. But there are limits and boundaries, and everyone has and brings their own value and their own worth, right? But like, if you think you're above other people, then that's a problem, and I don't even know if that's where she's at. So until we get more concrete evidence or information, I don't really know. But I heard there's like some like cheating like information, or like cheating like rumors about her and like Adam Cole or whatever, and that I don't even give a shit about, because that's not my business. You know what I mean? That's her personal business. And she made a statement, like a tweet, saying that she's never cheated on anyone. And it's like, that's just stuff that we shouldn't know about, Like, that's just kind of, like she said, weird that we would even have that information at our fingertips. 1 second. All right. Sorry, guys. I may not be able to go too long tonight because the sickness. I'm down with the sickness, as the sword would say. But the other part to your question, E, regarding Corey Graves, he was on his best behavior for NXT, right? And it makes you wonder. It makes you wonder why and what's going on with that. I feel like that was probably one of those things that started off as, what do they say, shoot. Excuse me, right? Like a shoot or whatever. I don't know, man. It's just very interesting that he even promoted last week that he would be on NXT and to see what he had to say, and he just wasn't there. Baby, you say, just for clarification, when CW paid for the NXT rights, NXT TV was removed from Peacock, but I believe the PPV is PLE. Oh, okay. Gotcha. What up, Maddie? What up, Maddie? Mr. MJ? What up, bro? What up? Yes. They are going to Australia. Too much money and not enough sense. That's a good one, man. Fernando, you said WWE is making a killing selling Penta Mask, and AEW never did in 4 years. Fucking blows my mind, dude. Blows my mind. Maddie, you say WWE did such a smart move coming to Western Australia. We make 90% of the money for the whole country. Where did AEW choose? Oh, Brisbane. That's such a shit town. Hey, man, I don't know. You obviously know better than me. And, like, they had to move venues a couple times because the tickets were selling, which, like, shit happens. But, like you said, like, why, if you're gonna fucking go all the way to Australia, and why not go to where the actual money is, Like, that, like, I mean, sounds like you are saying, like, it would obviously do better over there. Like, why not follow WWE, but at least follow in the same area, right? Like, blows my mind. Yeah, man. I don't know. It may. I don't even want to say it'll be a flop, but like the show in Australia. But at this point, I'm almost like just fucking cancel it, and just reschedule it, or not cancel, but reschedule it for a different time when you're actually gonna focus on it, because you're like, even every week you see banners for All In. You don't even see any type of promotion, and Revolution. You don't see any promotion for the Grand Slam show. So it's like, what are we even doing? Like, what's even the point? Um, ba-ba. All right, just going through. What up, YouTube limits? What up? What up? What up? What up? Sean, you say, why is Osprey wrestling cage after Omega just beat him last week? They still haven't really talked about the story about why they truly don't like each other. Yeah, dude. Who fucking knows, man? No idea. No idea. YouTube, say, is Alexa Bliss going to AEW? Nah, bruh. Nah, they ain't letting Alexa Bliss go unless she wants to go. But I don't see them letting her go very easily at all. She's a big deal for them. Excuse me. I agree. When I saw Fletcher out there, dude, I agree with you, Sean. I was just like, man, how much he's fallen just since the Continental Classic, and I still will be on that hill that he should have won that tournament. He should have beat Okada. Because where's Okada been? Okada hasn't even been here. That was my point. Like, you're not going to Okada's not going to be there obviously every week. So Fletcher hasn't been there necessarily every week, but he's been there more than Okada. Like, what are we doing with him? Nothing. It's just crazy. Just crazy. Ba-ba-bum. You say she's possibly done with AEW, and rumors of her maybe in WWE, but people say that anytime, yeah, regarding Britt Baker. I think she still has like a year or two left on her contract with AEW too, so I don't think she's going anywhere anytime soon. Now, if she's going to be on TV, that's, she could be on that shelf with Ricky Starks, Miro, Malachi Black, Ray Phoenix, all of them. Oh, Sean, you say she does not need to come to WWE because she isn't good enough as a wrestler. You wouldn't want to see her even in NXT, Sean? I think she'd be a good fit for NXT to start off with, and kind of refine herself. And I just think she's too much of a star for WWE to pass up on. So I definitely see, if and when she becomes available, they would try to snatch her up for sure. Y'all are funny. Fernando, you say Britt needs to understand that a lot more talented wrestlers has been acquired in AEW since she was women's champ, and has to know where she is now in the food chain. She does, and that's what I was saying too. If it's a matter of her not being able to take a step back and realize that she's not the main focal point and the end all be all, then that's just something that some people need to learn the hard way. You know what I mean? And just really kind of just get smacked in the face with. But I don't know, man. Like, and again, like, maybe I may be off base here, but I don't get that vibe from Britt Baker. Like, I don't, like, again, like, she probably does think she's the shit, and she should. Like, everyone should have that at least a layer of that when you're a wrestler, right? But I just feel like I don't feel like she's that high on herself. And again, I could be way off, but I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where like there's like a kernel of the truth and like it gets blown up type thing with her. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it, man. Trying to get through it. I guess I haven't talked this much sitting down like in like consecutively. So it's getting to me more than I thought it would. I thought I'd be able to at least chat for a little bit without being too terrible, but I'm annoying myself, so I appreciate you guys for hanging in there for sure. Y'all are funny. I'm just reading through, like scrolling through y'all's comments real quick. Shawnee said that Wade has said multiple times that AEW is fed up with her, which means that she is causing a lot of problems somehow. Yeah, man. And if that's true, then I just wonder what it is. Like there was speculation with the whole Thunder Rosa thing, and I know that when they were like doubting if Thunder Rosa was really injury and the severity of her back injury and stuff like that. So if that's the case, if she is going around there and like talking shit and kind of be an asshole or whatever, or thinking she's above everyone, then hey man, sit at home and do nothing. I'll pay you if I gotta pay you. Like if you're Tony Khan, but I'm not gonna put you on TV. You say, are you doing Saturday night main event predictions, or are you doing that on the Saturday morning show? I will be doing that Saturday morning, man. I wanted to touch on it. I was thinking about maybe touching on it, but I don't think my body will let me tonight. But getting back to AEW here, because I do want to touch on that. Of course, like I referenced, I want to touch on the main event and Jeff Jarrett. But of course, we do have new tag team champions with the Hurt Syndicate, Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. I didn't even realize that Bobby Lashley had never been tag team champion before. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that's fucking crazy. We, of course, know Shelton Benjamin has, but I was just like, wow. And when I thought about it, I was like, yeah, I guess I don't ever recall him being a tag champ, which is just crazy to think about. But you would have thought they were the good guys in this match, right? You would have thought that the Hurt Syndicate were the good guys. And I feel for Private Party. My opinion, they were kind of positioned as transitional champions, and that sucks because they were one of AEW's homegrown talent, and I hoped and wanted a little bit more for them, but I guess it's just not right now. And I've heard rumblings that maybe you could send them over to ROH, and that's like not good. Like, why would you want to? Like why would you even say that? If anything, it gets back to my bigger point of, well, not bigger point, but one of the points that I've made in the past, that do a roster split and really make it a point to have certain teams on and certain like a certain roster for Collision and a certain roster for Dynamite, right? Obviously, Dynamite's going to be like your Raw, but you can have SmackDown be kind of like the SmackDown back in the day, when it was like the SmackDown 6, and you had your talent that were names, but they weren't like household names. But you really put time and effort into developing them and making stories for them and making stories for the talent who weren't in the main event scene and really growing them, right? So I just think there's a lot of pluses and benefits that you could get from having a Collision and having a brand split, more specifically, rather, especially for Collision too, because you would make it a point, be like, all right, I know I'm gonna see Private Party on Collision, right? Like, obviously, you want more talent than that, but first, that's just an example. So, apologies. I feel like it would also help with your ticket sales too, because, for instance, they're going to be in Jacksonville here on Saturday, and I really debated on going to the show. I was looking at tickets, and first of all, I didn't really know for certain who was going to be there until the card was announced last night, and I just wasn't really that pressed to spend however much. I didn't even look at the ticket prices, but to spend however much money, it would have been like about 2 hours and 20-minute drive to go up there, and I'm already off that day. I just so happened to have like the rest of this week off, but I thought about it, but I just wasn't pressed, and it kind of pumped me out, like if it was a better show and like I had an idea of like, okay, excuse me, like Christian Cage, for instance, know for sure he's going to be there because he's on that roster. Things happen, like travel restrictions and what, but if you have a roster specifically designated like WWE does, it makes it a little bit easier too when you're making decisions to buy tickets. So I just feel like it would kind of solve a lot of problems, really. This water is my best friend right now. But finishing up with Private Party and Hurt Syndicate, they just need to acknowledge that Hurt Syndicate is cool, are cool, and they are. And I feel like it's a problem that like Bobby Lashley, for instance, has always had too, right? Like people always want to cheer him, and he's always positioned as the bad guy. Just make him a good guy and be done with it. Like, come on, guys. Um, but especially now, like they could really help your tag division and really be something that your tag division needs right now to help revitalize the division as a whole. You've already pulled the trigger and pulled the titles off of Private Party, so use Hurt Syndicate to really build up other teams out. And that's going to be the problem too because they're so cool, right? And a lot of people don't want to cheer against them, but that's why you need to solidify them in a role and go from there. So we'll see. Now, let's see what you guys have to say about the tag items or the tag champs really quick. And then I want to talk about what Karen Jarrett said backstage because I really thought it was minimal, but it was a big deal. Ezekiel, you said, whilst I agree with TK sitting her down, it's only a temporary fix. He needs to learn to confront people and manage for resolution and team mindset in the women's locker room regarding Britt Baker. 100%. 100%. What up, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen? What up, what up? I'm rooting for you, Kevin, against Cody. Yeah, we hurt people. Let's go. Tony has killed ROH. It's fucking sad, Maddie. It's fucking sad, bro. And I remember CM Punk when it was first announced, when obviously he was in AEW and brighter pastures, greener pastures. He had made a point. He said a comment like, "I'm so happy that my history in the Ring of Honor prestige or something to that effect is owned by someone who like respects wrestling and appreciates wrestling. It's not just gonna be like a hub on a network or some shit like that. And man, it'd be so much better if it was just a hub on a network right now. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. It's sad. It's sad. And like free Athena, like the only good thing about I'm not gonna say the only good thing, but the one good thing rather about All In being in Texas and hopefully just period being in Texas is hopefully we get Athena. I was trying to think of other reasons, but it's sad that may be the only thing that gets her brought up to quote unquote the main roster, right? But it's like fuck, like I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, what do we have to do to get Athena on Dynamite or even Collision? Like she again, like if I knew Athena was gonna be at Collision, I'd be more enticed to pay money and to make it a point to go. But we just need some type of structure and some type of system. And I don't know why it seems to be that hard or that like you're that against. Like I'm not the most responsible or structured person, but like fuck, like structure almost helps you in a lot of ways too. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Jesse, what up, bro? What up? What half of the Ringside Renaissance? Great channel. I was actually just watching y'all's We Declare for the Rumble show again. So I definitely recommend it. Check out Ringside Renaissance, guys. I'm sure you guys already have, but him and and Combat Jones are quite the duo. So definitely check them out. But yeah, bro, thanks for popping in, man. I appreciate it. Again, I'm just fucking random. Um, again, talk about structure, right? I need to practice what I preach. Oh man, thanks, Maddie. Appreciate that. Hey, Fernando, you said AEW didn't have a plan for Private Party after winning the tag championships. No, dude, they didn't. It took them what was it a week or until I think like where did they win at? I think it took them until like the following Collision to have some type of celebration, and it was just so like half-assed. It was just terrible. And then they have like one title defense on the pre-show, I think it was, or maybe it was the opening match. I think it was the opening match, but that was it. It's just a joke, dude. And it's like why even take the tag titles off the Young Bucks? And I get maybe because you didn't want Hurt Business, Hurt Syndicate. I'm sorry, beating the Young Bucks, but whatever happened to the Outrunners too? Like they were hot. Whatever happened with them? It's like they just completely got forgotten about. It's just so strange, dude. Just so strange. Aren't they replacing Rampage or something else? They better not, dude. There was rumors of that Shockwave, or they had like trademarked Shockwave, but I hope not. It'd be stupid. What's the point? What's the point? Like no one's gonna watch it just because it's a new show or a different show. Like it's the same shit, you know. So then that didn't make sense to me when it first came out. Like, oh yeah, they could potentially have a new show. Like why? Like no one's watching the shows that you have now. Like your viewership is going down. Like not even trying to be negative. It's just facts. Like why would you stretch yourself even thinner? I was happy when Rampage went away, not because it took away an additional platform for wrestlers to get reps in, and and like exposure and stuff, but it's like it was almost doing more harm than good. And I was hopeful that okay, like since Rampage is going away, Collision will get more focus. And I don't know. I don't feel like it's happened. Oh yeah, Maddie. They are lucky they have diehard fans for sure, bro. What up, Nick? What up, bro? Hello. The Corey Graves stuff that was brought up earlier. So to kind of recap, because I know I was kind of like in and out on that, but in regards to the Corey Graves stuff, I think that was one of those things that did start off as what they call like shoot right or whatever. I think he probably did feel some type of way, and to be honest, like I'd feel some type of way too. Like I forget exactly how he worded it, but something to the effect of imagine like working your ass off to have your dream job and then someone telling you you can't do it, which was obviously him wrestling and then getting hurt and being told he can't wrestle, and then finding a dream job adjacent and being pretty damn good at it, and then being told you're not famous enough, something to that effect. And he just felt like he was being taken advantage of, and he's not wrong, and me just kind of reading in between the lines, like, yeah, like he probably did feel shitted on because Pat McAfee is more famous than him, right? And it's one of those things that kind of rubs me the wrong way too and kind of grinds my gears, but it's just facts that you're it's kind of like the situation with CM Punk and The Rock, right? Like back in the day, CM Punk was a champion, but The Rock was coming in. The Rock was a bigger deal. He took the spotlight. He took the championship. He took the spotlight. He took the shine. He took the main event. And it's bullshit. Business wise, it makes sense though. And at the end of the day, that's what makes their world go around. But it doesn't make it right, and it doesn't make us feel any better. And I think though, with him stating that, I can't remember if it was the exact follow up tweet, but him stating that tune into NXT because he has a lot to say or something like that. And I was like, okay, like I feel like the original tweet was him like trying to get stuff, like just kind of venting. He probably spoke to someone about it, and they're like, all right, bet, like let's do this, and kind of run with it. But it does make me wonder if that is going to lead to anything in the Rumble, because We know it's going to be in Indianapolis this year. Pat McAfee is from Indianapolis. I would imagine they're going to want him to be involved. What better way to have him involved and then be a surprise entrant in the Rumble? It's going to be one of the biggest Rumbles ever, if not the biggest Rumble matches ever. Why not have Pat McAfee involved? I just feel like that's kind of like a no-brainer. Like, I would actually be more surprised if he wasn't involved than if he was. What better way to really get something going? Because there was rumors too, and I think maybe Corey even confirmed that he's cleared to wrestle and he's good to go. But what if you have Corey kind of being a little salty? Now, granted, he was fine on NXT, but little seeds being dropped, or maybe even nothing else. But we already got him on Twitter, right, saying what you said. What if he gets fed up and he eliminates Pat McAfee, or he screws over Pat McAfee or some shit, or Pat is making his way down to the ring. Maybe he's walking around, slapping the hands, all that good shit, and Corey attacks him. Something like that, because I would imagine Corey would be ringside, right? Pat's going to be obviously involved in the match. He's probably not going to be available for commentary, so you're going to need someone to fill in. Corey Graves is perfect person for that, so I don't know. It's just something to kind of speculate about now. Again, that's just like really like Hail Mary type shit. But I just think that you have room to kind of have fun with it, especially if they're both game, right? It doesn't have to be a 5-star classic, right? But it could be a fun match, regardless of when you have it. So I was just kind of like randomly thinking about that. But since you brought it back up, I figured I'd say that here. Jesse, appreciate that, bro. You said you're killing it. What do you think about Moxley holding rock and roll hostage multiple days? Multiple crimes, stupid. Multiple days, multiple crimes. Yeah, bro. So we'll kind of jump over to that because y'all know me. I'm kind of scatterbrained anyway. Fucking stupid, man. Just fucking stupid. Like you said, it makes no sense. Like, like. So are we supposed to think that they've held Rock and Roll Express hostage since what, Collision? And either they did or they have, which, like you said, again, multiple. But there's no law in AEW. You can do whatever the fuck you want. Like Ricochet held scissors to fucking Prince Nana's throat, and it was essentially like threatening his life, and that was fine. No one was concerned. Again, no one interfered. No one in the back. Like nothing. So like crime is a very objective word in AEW. I've learned. So we can't go by that. Jesse, you're using too much logic there with the whole crime thing. But so we're either A, supposed to believe that they have held these men captive for multiple days. Law be damned. Or they let them go. They were free. Rock and Roll Express then came back to AEW because they're like, you know what, fuck it. Yeah, Death Riders were pieces of shit to us. They held us captive backstage, whatever, like that's fine. Shit happens. We're good. We're in Tennessee. We can't miss being in Knoxville. They're in Tennessee. We have to show up. They show up backstage, kind of maybe downplaying Death Riders, like, like they normally show up either the beginning, middle, or the end of the show, so maybe we'll just kind of like try to blend in, right? Or stay in catering, or just maybe hide in the locker room, but just visit and then be kind of like incognito. But problem with that is Death Riders found them, held them captive, beat them senseless. FTR was held senseless, held captive, held senseless. Yeah, essentially, this whole fucking thing is senseless. But they're being held captive, duct tape, all that good stuff. And a good old concerto for Rock and Roll Express. And I don't know which scenario would be better or worse, and it kind of hurts my brain to think about. So the whole thing is just fucking dumb. Like you said, that last word, stupid. And I hate to be so negative about it, but either way, it doesn't make sense. And we didn't even know Rock and Roll Express were there until we were showing them at the very last segment, like at the very end of the show, when they were like about to be, his husband's about to be like scrambled rings type shit, right? So it's like you could have at least like showed them arriving to the arena or had them like walking backstage and like, you know, being treated like legends, like had them talking with a couple people like, oh shit, Rock and Roll Express is here, making it a big deal. And then like having that, and then while you're showing them backstage, like we're surprised they're even here, like having commentators be like, we're surprised they're even here, especially like with what they went through. What was it on Collision, or what they just went through with the Death Riders? Like it's brave for them to even be there, right? Type shit. And then just quick 20 seconds of that, and then that would make more sense for showing them being fucking almost decapitated later on. So I don't know, man. It's just fucking wild, wild. Jesse, again, you're asking too many logistical questions here. What were the papers the Bucks were shredding before they disappeared? Maybe their contracts. Maybe that's why they haven't been back. It doesn't, dude, and that's what's fucking frustrating because I want to like I love AEW. I love wrestling. Obviously, like I feel like a broken record, but it's like I just want basic continuity. I don't need multi-layered stories, or like I don't need a callback from 2 years ago necessarily, but I just want shit to make sense from week to week. I want to be able to invest in a character that I know is going to be there next week, and not just okay, cool. Like Chris Statlander, she's working on her relationship with Willow. Who knows where they're at now? Are they friends again? I don't know. Did they work it out? I don't know. Why is Chris Statlander a good guy again? I don't know. Why was she so mad at Willow to begin with? I don't know. Where's Stokely Hathaway? I don't know. I don't know why the first one that popped into my brain, but there's just so many situations, bro. Just so many situations. And now the Young Bucks are the tag champs in New Japan, so it's like, who knows when the fuck they'll be back. But that plays into what I was saying earlier about the Elite with where's Okada? You know, like what's happening with Omega? Like that was what I said at the beginning of the show. Like where Omega came back and confronted Okada, and he hasn't been mentioned since. Why did we have Okada beat Fletcher? Or why didn't we have Fletcher win the tournament? Why did we have Okada beat Osprey? Like I don't know. It's not. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's easy because it's not, and you're dealing with a lot of egos, a lot of moving factors and shit like that. But like Jesus, just like keep a book. Like we know he writes shit down. Week week one in January. This is the stories that we did. Week two, okay, like week one, I used Osprey, Omega, and Okada. Like week two, I should at least be referencing those three guys. And if not, then I need something referencing why they're not there, or something following up, some type of reference. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. Sean, you said Pat would be in the Rumble for sure. A match with Corey and Pat could actually be great. Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. Like Pat, you know, people are probably, or not probably, but people are a little annoyed with Pat on the commentary team. I'm not at that point yet. Sometimes, you know, some of the stuff he says is cringe. You know, I totally get that. And some nights it is like just relax, dude. But I still think it's fun here. Again, I'm just a fan of Pat McAfee, so again, probably some biasy there, but he is he is great in the ring for the experience and his background. I still think Bad Bunny is probably the best, but Pat is right up there. Like the match he had with Adam Cole, that was something special. So I think that'd be fun for sure. Jesse, you're funny. I don't know. Soraya was still commenting on Ronnie's post, so we'll see. What's up, Chet Manley? He said Crime Lord Moxley for president. I mean, we already got a felon as president, so I mean, why not? Why not, you know? And again, it doesn't even matter what side you're on. That's just a fact. It is just a fact. What up, wrestling old head? What up? What up? He said, "Why do Rock and Roll Express keep going to AEW shows? They get their butts beat every single time. Imagine walking into Walmart and getting beat up 5 times in a row when you order from Amazon." Fucking hilarious, bro. Tremendous. What up, wrestling old head? What up, bro? That was great. That was great. Oh. Yeah, Ezekiel, you said Death Riders committing crimes would be a gimmick I could get into if there was creativity. I mean, at least just have Tony Khan, like, and when in the media scrums, just say, you know, we handle it internally. Some shit, but it's like, how does this keep happening? But, gonna scroll through really quick and then comment on a few more things from Dynamite, then we'll be wrapping up. Y'all are funny. You said anyone see Melania Trump cosplaying the Undertaker at the inauguration? Funny coincidence. Her, yeah, right. And then Chess says, "I thought she was cosplaying as the hamburger, bro." Yeah, y'all are great. Y'all are fucking great. Ugh. Y'all are great. Fernando, you say, "Hey, to be negative, but Pat McAfee is annoying as hell." Like, yeah, man, like I said, he is not for everyone. I totally fucking get that. And some now that he's more comfortable too, some nights he seems to be more free than others. But some of the shit that he says in like the poop jokes are just cringe. So I'm look, I may be a fan of his, but I totally get that. I totally get he has his limits for sure with people. For sure. Logan versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania, bro. That would be good, Maria. That would be good. Talk about two, and again, Logan, and he has made, you know, those video segments where he stated that he is going to. I mean, obviously he's not, right, but he's going to be. He didn't say. I don't even think he said the words necessarily full time, but he's going to be fully committed, and like he's not gonna have like outside distractions, which obviously he will, because if he gets that match with or the boxing match with Mike Tyson, I'm sure he'll take advantage of that. But he is supposedly going to be more focused with wrestling, and so we'll see how true that will be. But I'm really curious if we're gonna get him and John Cena at some point too. I feel like just publicity wise, I think that that's kind of a intriguing match, and Logan can sell that for sure. Like, you can have Logan start that tomorrow if you want it, just having him talk shit on his podcast, do an Instagram video, whatever he does, you know, type shit, and just start like talking shit, or just like not even specifically towards John Cena, but be talking about wrestling and then like kind of like throw shade at him type shit. I think that could be fun, and I feel like Logan and a lot of other wrestlers too, but I feel like they would allow Logan more freedom to really push like some buttons with Cena, and I think that that could be like a fun promo battle. Like, again, Logan isn't necessarily known for his verbal skills or anything like that, but he you know some chump on the mic either, and he's almost I'm not gonna say so unpredictable, but he almost has that unpredictable side to him because obviously this isn't his bread and butter, right? So he is respectful and he's not gonna go out there and like shit talk, but he isn't as quick to bite his tongue as some of the wrestlers would be. So I think that could be really fun. Where we get it on Cena's retirement tour, and if we even would, that would be you know a whole other thing. But Logan, man, Logan is something nice, and I kind of wish he would be around more in WWE because it would be fun. It'd be fun to watch him. But Bad Bunny, man, all the respect and props to Bad Bunny, because that dude, the time and the effort that he put into training and preparing for his match, and the schedule and the flights that he took, props to him, dude, because he didn't need to, obviously. Um, he didn't even need to put in as much time in training that he did, let alone do the match to begin with. So, and go through the shit that he went through. So props to him, bro. Props to him. Ezekiel, you said, I mean, in a weird way, the president being an actual convict is the most American dream thing ever. Only in the USA can you be convicted and still be the president. Exactly. That's what we should all hope for. We all have the power to achieve the American dream, whatever version that may be. You're absolutely right, Hezekiah. Absolutely right. Ba-ba-ba. Chet agrees with you. Chet agrees with you, Fernando. Yeah, and again, I'm probably in the minority with Pat, but yeah, he's definitely getting close to his limits for sure. Like I said, but to me, it's just he brings out a layer to Michael Cole too, which is kind of fun for me. So I just like hearing that dynamic. I think too is what it is. Sean, you said why did Jamie Hayter and Julia wrestle again? So Julia can be told she's a bad bitch, Sean. Why? What other reason? No, I mean that was probably like the dead point of Dynamite, and it's sad, but it was just kind of weird because like we've gotten now that promo now for each remaining member of the House of Black. We got one from Edge, excuse me, Adam Copeland, and then one from Osprey to Buddy Matthews, and then now one from Jamie Hayter to Julia. Um, kind of like giving them like a pat on the back and like a reminder of who they are. It's like just kind of odd. Like I don't know, like why do they really need encouragement? Like just because Malachi Black is leaving, like you don't have your leader, like why do you need encouragement? Like you're fine. Like it's just kind of odd. Um and then when Jamie was like, yeah, you're a bad bitch, Julia, and Julia just smiled. It's like, no, dude, that's not your character, man. Like no. EU said, did you ever see Stephen Amell versus Stardust? He did actually. Yes, I did. He did good as a celebrity. He even wrestled on Indie once or twice and in AEW, and his good AF show heels. Oh, okay, yeah. Good as fuck show heels. Maybe him and Cody, a story when Cody turns heel. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes an appearance in WWE again. But yeah, dude. Stephen Amell, another one. Just real student of the game too, and just had the respect is there, and you can see it when a celebrity like really respects it, and when they don't. Bro, Jesse, do you think Heyman's favorite to Punk is to have Brock come eliminate Roman from the Rumble? So much good fucking bro. I don't think we get Brock back yet. I don't think I think that'd be crazy to see at the Rumble. I don't think we're gonna see him yet. I think they're still gonna want to hold off, but I don't know. I think Heyman's favorite of Punk. I think that's gonna end up being. At one point, I thought maybe if Punk fails at securing a match for Mania, whether it be through the Rumble match or the Elimination Chamber, that the Heyman or the Heyman, the favor that Punk gets from Heyman is to have a match with Roman at Mania. But again, that's the time for you could because I guess you could have about 2 months to build to it, give or take, a week or two. Um, but I think that was just one thing that I thought like months ago at this point. But I don't know. Like I don't think Punk would want anything to do with Brock really. Um, but I think that could be a fun match too. Punk versus Brock. Man, that could be fucking especially with Lesnar on the mic and actually speaking and not having him and speak for him. I just think that'd be fucking gold. I think it'd be fucking gold. But I just don't think we get Brock back yet, but that'd be fun. That would be fun. Ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba. Facts. You said the entire government been criminal since Trump was born. Before Trump was born. Yeah. Fucking facts, dude. Since it was created. It's been fucking bro. We could get into a whole thing. Like our country's a lie. But yeah, we could definitely get into that. But yeah, you're right though, wrestling old head. Snoop Dogg does have great ring awareness. Oh sure. Chet, you said Logan has the talent to be a top tier heel if he can get his promo skills up a level or two. Yeah, man. Like I was saying, like he wouldn't like fucking like go toe to toe with Cena, but I think he would have just enough like I don't give a fuck type thing, but enough like respect not to go like too overboard just to make it fun. But yeah, man, he just needs reps, in my opinion. He just needs more experience. Um, Dude, yeah, Nikki said, how cool was that spinning pyro thingy they had for Penta on Raw? Fucking dope, dude. Already $1,000,000, man. $1,000,000. Ugh. Wrestling Head, I think he was on Waze for a while. I think his voice was on there for the Waze navigation system, like probably over a year or two ago at this point. But I think he was, because I remember hearing some. I remember his voice. But yeah, something. I think he was. Um, uh, uh, uh. Wrestling old head. You said, Ash, what are your thoughts on this heavily rumored Cody Rhodes versus John Cena match at Mania? I think it would be great. I think it would be. It's now or never, right? And I think at first I don't want Cena to win the Rumble. I don't think that you need him to win the Rumble. You need him to really fight for it, right? That's his story right now is woe is me. I've lost so many matches or I haven't won a match in X amount of days. What was like 2000 something. Um, and his story right now is he finally decided he wants to hit 17, right? So his story is trying to figure out how to get back there, and he's not going to just take a handout. He wants to earn it. So I pitched if he's not going to be like the first or second entrant, having him come out in the first 5 entrants in the Rumble so he can really go the distance. I don't think he should win the Rumble though. Go the distance, maybe get to the final 4, and then have him have like all 4 men standing off, have that moment, and then kind of like out of nowhere him be eliminated, and then you get that like crushing. It's kind of like when Shawn Michaels was trying to when he was going into WrestleMania 26 and he was just itching to get a rematch at Undertaker, and he had no other way to get to I think it was WrestleMania 26, and he had no other way to get to Taker, and he was trying everything that he could, and he got eliminated, and that was his last shot. And I think that it was just like that devastation, right? So I think that you could really play off of that, have him lose the Rumble, enter the Elimination Chamber, and then if they are going to pull the trigger, I think you do it then. I was kind of thinking they may go the Cena and Gunther route, but if what they did with Rock is confirmation that Rock isn't going to be facing Cody, then you almost have to do Cody and Cena, and it would kind of make the most sense when you think of Cody Rhodes is essentially trying to be the next John Cena, right? And a lot of comparisons have already been made. I think John Cena's even made that comparison. So why not have Cena put over and really emphasize Cody? I don't think, regardless of if Cena faces against Gunther or Cody, I don't think that he should win it at WrestleMania. I think he should lose his match at WrestleMania. I know that's may sound crazy. Why would he lose his last Mania match? But with Cena, man, like he's had his time on top, and now it's his story of this is his story, right? Like what else is really going to be the focal point on his retirement tour? So I think you could really extend it all the way to SummerSlam and have him win the title then, and go from there. But how you get there and if it's going to be a rematch with him and Cena or him and Cody or what that would even look like, that's a whole other story. I mean, at that point, shit, you can even have you can have CM Punk versus Gunther at Mania, or at some point have CM Punk beat Gunther, or CM Punk become the champion and have CM Punk versus Cena, right? Again, like I don't want Cena to beat my guy, but there's just so many possibilities. So if they are going to pull the trigger on a Cody versus Cena match, I think you'd be stupid not to do it at Mania. Um, but I wouldn't want Cena to beat Cody. But I don't know, like, to be completely honest, I would love for Kevin Owens to beat Cody Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. I'm not gonna get into that right now, and I know it's probably not gonna happen, but I think that'd be fun. But I just think wise and business wise, Cody and Cena, that would just feel big. And it would feel next level, really, and really amplify Cody. So I think the pageantry around it would be probably a bigger deal than the match itself. That's why I would say, like, no, don't pull the trigger on having Cena beat Cody. Have Cena kind of work for it a little bit more and really doubt, like, shit, like, Now he has to go to Money in the Bank and kind of go from there. Because if he goes to Money in the Bank and he wins the briefcase, then he can call a shot, and then he can call a shot for SummerSlam because that'll be the next pay-per-view at that point. So PLE. So there's a lot of options you can go with. Duran. What up, my friend? Doing well, man. Doing well. I'm just battling this cold, man. Sorry if I sound not if. Sorry that I sound like crap. How you doing, my friend? How you doing? How you doing? Maybe he could go for the TNA title for number 17. As long as he does that on February 20th or 21st, because I'll be at that show. So let's go. And there'll be a Full Sail, so that'd be great. That'd be great. Wrestling Head, you said Cody sympathizes with Cena wanting to finish his story based on his own story being finished. I mean, it could work, but it would divide the crowd a bit, wouldn't it? Yeah, and that's another good point you bring up too. Who would the fans side with? As crazy as it sounds, man, I really feel that the it feels even crazy saying it, but I really feel like the fans would side with Cena at this point, and I feel like I don't think they would like completely turn on Cody or anything like that, but I feel like if we put both against each other, I feel like Cena would get the more like emotional and kind of like heartstring type of reaction and love. Now he is that loved legend that's come back, right? And he's not that Super Cena, the guy that's dominating everything and just pushed down our throats, right? Like he's the guy that's kind of humbled and he's put in some losses, right? So I think the fans may side with him, as crazy as it is. But yeah, that's another problem that you run into. Also, though, for real. But yeah, Fernando, Punk versus Roman and Cody versus Cena at Mania. That'd be fucking crazy, dude. Fucking crazy. But yeah, wrestling rollhead, passing of the torch for sure. But finishing up on Dynamite really quick, and then I'll get back to your comments. Regarding Karen Jarrett, I really enjoyed that, or not enjoyed, but I really appreciated that the brief statement that she made backstage when Jarrett was before he made his way out to the ring, that she was like, "Look, that wasn't you last week. You got down into the gutter with MJF, and everyone knows that's not you, and I don't like it. And I think thank you." Like she probably heard what everyone was saying and agreed. You know, like that's not Jarrett. Like he's never been that guy. He's never been that type to like call someone else's partner like a whore and all this shit, like a call girl, and like she's entertaining 10 dudes and all this like nasty shit. Like, in touching on that promo last week, I thought it was disgusting. Like, I'm not even like a prude or anything like that. Like, like trust me, like I watch nasty shit and crazy shit and like whatever. But like the fact that they were just like especially like what Jared said, like he was insulting MJF's mother, saying that she was what like she was like a prostitute essentially, and like after she got pregnant, like she still had to pay for it or some shit. Like, what the fuck are you saying, dude? Like, what are we doing here? And calling MJF's girlfriend or fiance, whatever she is, a Canadian call girl who was entertaining like 10 dudes while he was going 60 minutes. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, really? I don't know. It was just really forced and just out of place for me, and I was not about it. And then I think they tried to fix it this week by having I keep want to call her Kevin, Karen address it and say that's not you, dude. And then Jeff going out there and pretty much saying, yeah, like that's not me. But the concerning part was then Claudio, because Jared then refocused on the heavyweight championship and calling out Moxley and declaring again that he is intending to face Moxley for the heavyweight championship, and he has to do that before he ends his career. This is his last year, right? So Claudio comes out and essentially says like, you don't get to Moxley before you go through me, and Jarrett, and I think he beat him down too, didn't he? I think he did. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because Claudio hit him from behind. Yeah, and then Jarrett was like, like he called him out, and then Claudio was like, oh, like called him out for a match, and Jarrett was like, essentially like, if I beat you next week, then I get a championship shot against Moxley, which is just like, okay, so now Claudio, it's just, I don't know, like, so now Claudio, as long as you beat Claudio, you get a title shot, which makes no sense to me, but whatever. If I'm Moxley, like, I wouldn't be signing off on that, but whatever, again. But Claudio was then like, okay, he was like, essentially like beating Jeff Jarrett senseless or to like, like lifeless or some shit like that. It sounds entertaining to him, and he'll see him next week, some shit like that. And I'm just like, if they have fucking Jeff Jarrett beat Claudio, I would really be at a loss, even if it's due to interference or some bullshit. Like I will just be at a loss, whether it's like MJF interfering to help Jarrett win, because Jarrett or MJF came out and, like I said a couple weeks ago, like what was it? Yeah, last week or the week before. On MJF's side, the one thing that does kind of make sense is that he would want Jeff Jarrett to win because he would view Jeff Jarrett as an easier opponent than Moxley for him to beat. So it'd be easier for MJF to beat Jarrett than it would be to beat Moxley, for instance, right? So it would make sense for MJF, in MJF's mind, to take the route easier, easier traveled, right? And that would be having Jarrett win the championship and MJF doing what he needs to do to help Jarrett win. So in my brain, I'm like, oh Christ, here we go, because MJF is going to most likely interfere and help Jarrett beat Claudio. And if that happens, that would just be fucking absurd. So I'm really hoping I'm wrong there, and I'm just projecting bad booking just because I'm a little bit traumatized. But I just, and if we're not, then like, why are we devoting all this time to it? So it's like damned if we do, damned if we don't type thing. And I'm not, I don't have a good feeling about it. But fast forwarding to the main event, speaking of the Death Riders and all that, we had Adam Copeland, not Cope, Adam Copeland facing off against Pac, Cope and Pac. Cope versus Pac, when it's just fucking funny. Well, we had Adam Copeland facing off against Pac. And like I referenced at the beginning of the show, like I was just blown away by the lack of energy from the fans. Like, I don't know if they were tired, or they just like weren't into it, but I don't know. Like, I thought it was a fine match. It wasn't like blowing my socks off or anything like that, but it was fine. It definitely picked up towards the end, but the fact that Jay White comes out to help Copeland. First of all, like why Jay White? Just because we're like going to Australia? He's not from Australia. He's from New Zealand, so I don't really know. Like, is he going to be involved in a Grand Slam match, or is he going to be set up for a Revolution match, or like why is he helping? I don't know. I'm just kind of confused about that, because he's already had his title shot in the 4-way at World's End, because I seen it. I seen it. I was there. And he lost. So I don't know. Maybe he's just a good guy and he has nothing else to do. So he's just like, fuck it. I'm just going to go out there and help Cope. Okay. He probably regrets it now because he got his ass beat for it. But it just made no sense. And then Moxley, like the whole Death Riders, the whole gang comes out. Moxley, threatens Copeland like, oh, I could snap your neck, but he doesn't, and they end up leaving. I'm just like, all right, so this is how we're ending the show? Like, really? Like, it just seemed very odd to me. Like, no one else is coming out to help Adam Copeland. Like, I mean, I know we know FTR is tied up in the back, but like, literally. But like Adam Copeland is supposed to be this respected legend, you know what I mean? And like, no one is coming out to help him except for Jay White, like, or AEW for that matter. Like, where's Will Ospreay? Like, him and Omega got the upper hand, right? So like, it's just like you just start to think too much, and it's just like I'm doing too much thinking. um, but yeah, it was just kind of frustrating, to say the very least. But I do want to talk about really quick. Let me go through the comments really quick. Make sure I don't miss anything regarding them. Yeah, Fernando. That's why I said Karen did that promo because of the backlash last week. It was damage control. It was, and it was needed. And it was so simple. What was it? 15 seconds, 20 seconds of what she said? Simple. Effective and to the point. Oh, appreciate it, bro. Appreciate that, Duran. I will, man. It's just stupid sickness. I will, though. I appreciate you, man. Yeah, and you're going to that, right? You're going to the Rumble in Duran in Indianapolis, you said? If so, man, fucking enjoy that, bro. Enjoy that. Make sure you get some merch. Ugh. Wrestling old head, you said, imagine if MJF taunts Double J with booze and then Jarrett comes out wasted, but once the bell rings, Jarrett comes alive and beats MJF. Dude, yeah. And I didn't even know he had a booze problem until what was it last week, so that was news to me that he had a booze problem. And at this point, bro, it wouldn't even surprise me if they do something like that. But yeah, man, Claudio should not be losing this match. Ask your doctor if coat pack is right for you. Fucking hilarious, bro. That's perfect. I can see the little box too, coat pack. Fucking tremendous. Ugh. All right, guys. I will be wrapping up here shortly. But I do want to just touch on really quick the WWE and TNA partnership. I already did a video on that. But we do have a new TNA heavyweight champion, that being Joe Hendry. Of course, we know that Jordan Grace is on her way out as well. Josh Alexander is finishing up. Of course, obviously, Joe Hendry, I think he still has, what, like another year in his contract or something like that. So I don't see him coming over anytime soon. But I do think, speaking of the Rumble, I think he would be a fun surprise in the Rumble. Of course, not to win, right? But to get the TNA champion some exposure, not again, like, to be fair, like Joe Hendry has done a great job putting his name out there, as we all know. But I think just to kind of piggyback off of that, what better way than to throw him in the Rumble, get him some love, get him some time. He'll have a great reaction, I'd imagine, and just put some shine on him, kind of like what they did with Jordan Grace last year. She got a great reaction. And speaking of Jordan, I'm pretty certain she is going to be free in time for the Rumble. So I think that with the partnership specifically, it was more focused and specified on NXT for WWE rather than the main roster. But, and this may be crazy, but I think Jordan Grace would be perfect to come in and go to NXT and just dominate the division. Well, maybe not dominate because it's stacked already with Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and of course, like Roxanne, but she's going at this point to the main roster herself. But you still have Corey J down there, Jada Parker. You have a stacked roster. But I think even for 6 months, just to kind of fine tune and just get the WWE machine under her belt, and kind of go through those reps. Have her come in there, and even if you don't have her win the NXT championship, uh, and I don't even know if that'd be better or worse if she won or not, but have her put in solid matches and then go to the main roster and kick ass. She could be, you could definitely make a case. I'm not even saying she needs to go to NXT. She could definitely be like an AJ Styles, right, and just go straight to the roster, the main roster, that is. But I just say that just in the sense of learning the WWE style, right? Obviously, she knows how to wrestle. She's a star already, but learning the WWE side of things, I think, even AJ Styles has said, like he wish he would have gone through the NXT system, but I think it'd be interesting, and I think that she would really benefit from that. But I think she also would be like a sponge too. And if she went to Raw or SmackDown, I think she would just fucking like just mesh and just like blend right in. So I'm excited for that, and Josh Alexander too. But the flip side, I do think he would be best suited for NXT starting off. I think him and um, Ethan Page can definitely rekindle their history there, Team Canada and all that good stuff. Excuse me. And just kind of revisit their history and go from there. And I think Ethan Page is a great foil for Josh Alexander to come in and kind of start off with. And I think he would be a great one to eventually become NXT champion and kind of make that his show for maybe a year or two, really, and then go to the main roster and go from there. Because I see him as being like a Chad Gable type on the main roster. Um, Maybe taken a little bit more seriously right off the bat, but I would want him in NXT for a while and just kind of like hone him and kind of shine him up as much as possible, and then send him on up to the main roster. But the partnership itself, I think it's fun, and it's a great sign for wrestling as a whole. I think it's something that AEW really dropped the ball on, and they really missed out on an opportunity with making something like official. Um, excuse me, maybe it would be. It's just that maybe they just have to make things official. Maybe AEW, they did have a closer working relationship back when Kenny Omega was a champion and Tony Khan was showing up there, right? And doing his little, well, not showing up on TV, but doing his little backstage promo segments. But it was just never anything really taken seriously. It was more one sided. So I think WWE is going to do it right. Like, I don't think it's going to be a situation where they end up like taking over the company or anything like that. But I do think I do think it's going to be a situation where this could be like a test run for NXT and TNA, and then maybe flirt with the main roster. But if they don't have AJ Styles go back for at least a one-off match, then shame on them. Shame on them, and the whole deal should be null and void. But I think they will. Maybe not anytime soon, but I think they will within at least 2025. All right, guys. I'm going to be wrapping up here. I'm going to go through your comments one last time. Because we are approaching, wow, an hour 45. Yeah, where was Jeff Jarrett to help cope? Exactly. Like his big deal is focusing on the Death Riders and all that shit and calling out Moxley. Like you tried to call him out earlier, he didn't come. You saw him. Like, why didn't you come out there? Good point, wrestling old head. Great point. You say a Rumble watch along. Whew, that's an interesting thought. February 1st. Oh, I don't know if I took that day off of my part time. I may have to make some adjustments there. We'll see. We'll see. I'll get back to you on that, man. And I have to see exactly how the watch along works too, like what I can do, because I think I can stream the audio, right? Just obviously not the visual, the video feed, but I think I could stream the audio. So I'll look into that, man. And let me guys know if you think that if you would be down for a watch along. I don't know, man. I don't like I was saying. I don't think they're gonna purchase TNA. It wouldn't be shocking, but I just think TNA and Anthem they're good. They've been doing this, for so long, and what would be the real need? Besides the video package would be fucking stellar, but WWE has NXT, and I feel like I would view that as a negative. I don't think that would be a good thing. So I hope not. Oh gosh, you're not going to the. Okay, you're just ready to see it. Yeah, man. Now I was just gonna be hyped for you, but yeah, bro, we're all hyped for it for sure. Yeah, Sean, they do need more fresh women on the main roster, but again, man, like they have talented women on the main roster. They're just not doing anything story wise. Give them shit for it too. They need to devote more time and energy into their stories. So I'm hopeful though, especially with the secondary titles that they've added. So we'll see. Fernando, you said Joe Henry will be in the final four and Jordan Grace will win the Rumble. I thought I had that as a prediction that Jordan Grace would win the Rumble. I said fucking go crazy. I don't remember how long ago it was, but I said fucking go crazy and have Jordan Grace win the Rumble. So she still will be my wild card. I thought that she I still think that she would do well in NXT for a little bit, but I don't know how I feel about her beating Rhea for the championship. I think she could come in, win the Rumble, and then maybe lose to Rhea, but have like a mutual respect type thing. Uh, but man, if you want to fucking make a star, pull the trigger, man. Rhea wouldn't be hurt, I don't think, because Jordan Grace is a badass. For sure. For sure. Moose and Nick Nemeth. It'd be fucking crazy, right? To see Nick Nemeth come in and pop up in the Rumble. But guys, I will be wrapping up here for sure. Fernando, you said you'd be down for a watch along. All right, y'all. I'll look into that and keep you guys posted for sure. For sure. Yeah, they could bring over the Ultimate X match, Johnny. That'd be crazy. That would be crazy. But yeah, guys, let me know what you guys think about the Rumble for sure. A watch along for the Rumble. I'll let you know what I can do. And I'll kind of look into that and see the best way to do that, stream that, all that good stuff. Mackenzie Johnson, what up, what up? He said Britt Baker should come to WWE. I will be interested to see doing a promo segment with Becky Lynch. Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun. I think, depending on if as long as it's like here's some bullet points and y'all have at it, I think that could be fun. All right, Wrestling All Head for sure. All right, I will let you guys know on the watch log. I will definitely let you guys know. But thank you guys so much for sticking with me tonight. I truly appreciate it. I know I sounded like shit, so I appreciate the patience and you guys hanging in there with me and hanging out with me and commenting. Feel free to like the video if you have not already. If you're new here, which I know a lot of you guys are not, but if you do watch our replay and you're new, feel free to subscribe and like and comment on your thoughts. I appreciate that. It's very fun for me and entertaining to see what you guys have to think and just meet new people, right? And kind of go from there. But until next time, guys, until Saturday, officially 10 a.m. Eastern live over on One True Sport here on YouTube. I will be there live, so feel free to join me there Saturday. But until then, guys, stay safe and enjoy some wrestling. Take care.